Okay, design of flexural members, ito yung mga learning outcome natin for today. Differentiate yung elastic and plastic analysis. Classify yung section given on a given problem, compact, non-compact, and standard section. Understand yung different limit state for flexure or mode of failure. Calculate flexural strength considering bending at major axis, also bending at minor axis, and yung combination which is tinatawag nating biaxial bending. Okay? Also, we would try to calculate shear strength of a beam and also do some serviceability check, no, which is a deflection check for a given beam. Okay. As mentioned, masyadong mahaba kasi yung ano na to, so we would cut into or divide into two sessions. Yung part 1 would be possibly hanggang major bending flexural strength considering bending at major axis. Okay. So punta tayo sa code provisions. Now in terms of NSCP 2015, design of flexural members was presented on section 506. Okay? So ito yung mga different provisions or subsections included dun sa sa section na to. So as you can see, madami talaga, no? Madami talaga, and it was annexed depende sa section or shape, no? And kung saang reference axis ka magbe-bend. Okay? So for example, on 506.2, ang sabi diyan, double symmetric compact I-shaped members. So yun, no? In particular, double symmetric daw yung section mo, I-shaped members and channel. Okay, applicable din daw pala. Okay? Pero bent siya about their major axis. Okay? So yung mga example pa niyan, for example, on point 7, that is square and rectangular hollow section. Okay? While dito kay point 6, nakabent naman siya at minor axis. Okay? So ganun yung defined yung code provision kay NSCP. Now, to simplify our discussion, para matapos tayo kagad, we would focus mainly muna on 506.2, no? Which is doubly symmetric, compact I-shaped members and channel bent about their major axis. Okay? So, in particular, W-shape tayo magpo-focus, no? Kasi yun ang usual na ginagamit. Okay? Now, meron tayong table dito showing as a guide, no? Dun sa mga designer on ano bang provision, no? Parang ito yung summary nung TOC or table of contents na pinakita natin kanina. So you can see on 506.2, ayan, merong I-shaped channel. Okay, may description in terms of slenderness ng planche and web. Okay, and merong limit state na dapat mo daw i-check. Okay? So parang lumalabas na for 506.2, dapat daw yung planche mo is C, which means to say compact, yung section mo, both no compact, and yung limit state na kailangan mong i-consider on checking under 506.2 is yung Y, corresponds to the yielding, no? Yielding failure, and LTB or lateral torsional buckling. Okay? So i-discuss natin itong mga mamaya, no? I-detail natin yung discussion for this topic. Okay? So let me repeat, no? Assumption natin for this first part ng chapter is compact section, doubly symmetric members, no? Bending would be on major axis. Okay? In terms of shear naman, no? Although sa second part na to, it was included in section 507, so kasunod lang. Okay? And ito yung mga included provisions on checking against shear. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa bending at major axis. Okay? So beams as a flexural member kasi, no? So for example, meron tayong a simply supported beam, okay, with any random load applied. Okay? The usual, no? Usual is meron kang moments, no? And meron ka ring shear. Okay? So it is usually appropriate na kapag nag-design ka ng beam, i-design mo siya not just on against bending but also on shear, no? And then yung beam kasi, no, as a basic definition, no? It's a structural member that usually supports transverse loads. Okay? So meaning if the longitudinal axis is at this direction, no? Yung mga loads mo was applied perpendicular dun sa longitudinal axis nung structural members mo. Okay? And usually, as I mentioned, it's subjected primarily to flexure or bending. Okay? Now, we have mentioned on the past chapter na hindi lang naman bending, no, ang possible ma-subject on our structural elements. Meron pwede rin siyang ma-introduce sa no, sa axial load. Okay? So in that case, tinatawag na natin siyang beam column. Okay? Beam column. So meron din tayong specific chapter, no, for beam column. But for now, no, just to emphasize, no, and emphasize na we would discuss pure bending, no, or pure flexure at this chapter. Okay. So moment alone or shear alone lang muna yung checking natin. Okay. Now, there's a lot of terminologies that was used with beams to interchangeably, but ito yung mga usual na ginagamit natin. So depende yan sa function. No? So for example, girders are basically beams supported by columns, no? And usually yung girders natin was supporting naman yung mga secondary beams natin. Okay? So meron din tayong joist like so sa mga trusses. Okay? Stringer. So dito yan sa mga stair natin, okay? Yung naka-inclined na structural members supporting yung mga steps, stringer ang tawag. Lintel, yun naman sa mga opening sa building structures natin, sa mga doors, sa mga windows. So usually naglalagay tayo ng beams doon to carry yung mga CHB walls natin. Okay? Girt, okay? Sa girt usually sa mga warehouse to structure natin, dun sa column natin, okay? Para matouch natin yung pinaka-cladding, wall cladding natin. Okay? Usually mga GI sheet 'yon sa mga warehouse. We introduce yung mga girt or horizontal elements or beams, no? Supported supporting yung ating wall cladding. Okay? Again, no? In terms of design of beams, you need to check not just bending or flexure, but also the shear, deflection, and the vibration. Okay? Now, as we have mentioned, we would focus on W-shaped section, no? Yung AISC rolled section. Meron siyang mga advantages if we would use this as a beam, no? As a beam, mainly because it has a lower cost compared with the built-up section, primarily due to additional fabrication cost. Di ba? Iwiweld mo pa yan pagka built-up section like it uses plates, di ba? Um, usually used for flexural members and for axial members then. Okay? And yun nga, may mga cases na kapag combined axial and bending, so pwede mo rin siyang gamitin for columns. And basically, double symmetrical yung section mo, no? And has a strong as x-axis and the weak y-axis, no? Yung ating mga wide W shape section. Okay. Now, in terms of analysis, okay, meron tayong dalawang usual, okay, yung tinatawag nating elastic analysis and plastic analysis, no? Going back pala dun sa um, stress strain diagram that we have discussed, yung first part which is under the elastic region, okay, which is usually ito yung mga diniscuss sa inyo, okay, and even the analysis on your lower subjects falls into elastic analysis. Okay, basically the assumption is in the theory is yung stresses acting on your members is limited lang dun sa yield stress, no, dun sa FY. Okay, kumbaga pag na-reach yung FY dun sa system mo is stop na, no, hanggang dun ka na lang. Okay, but in reality kasi pwede mo pang dagdagan yung load, no, hindi pa naman collapse or hindi pa ang untermilize, hindi pa katapusan ng mundo, no. Pwede ka pang magdagdag ng load. So pag nagdagdag ka ng load after this elastic region, you would fall into a plastic or inelastic region. So yung counterpart nun would be plastic analysis. If you would use yung what we call the maximum possible or you would mobilize yung reserve strength ng section mo. So usually pwede ka pa daw magdag ng 20% nung load na in-apply mo to reach yung yield stress, no, limit. Okay? So ganun yung nangyayari kay plastic analysis, no. Ang ibang term dito is collapse mechanism, no, wherein yun nga, you would continuously add loads in such a way na the capacity ng structural system mo or any component dun sa structural system mo would collapse, no? Would collapse. And usually it would have what we call plastic hinge, okay, na tinatawag. So yun nga, hindi lang naman kasi limited to FY, pwede mo pang mag-add ng additional load to mobilize yung reserve strength ng given section mo until yung all fibers would yield. Okay? In terms of steel design, by the way, the assumption is that beyond the yield point, the stress is already constant, hindi na as a simplification or as a idealization. Okay? So ito yung tinatawag natin elastic perfectly plastic assume na in design. Okay? Now, para mas maintindihan yung difference nung elastic and plastic analysis, which would be the basis of our design in flexural members, we need to discuss this slide. Okay, so say for example you have a simply supported beam, okay, and you have any random load applied on top of your beam, no. So ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ka ng mga stresses, no, or mga moments, okay, acting on your or given section. Okay, so say for example you have a random section like so. Okay, on elastic analysis, okay, on elastic analysis, ang nangyayari is if you would try to draw, no, yung pinaka stress and strain and stress, no, distribution dun sa given section mo, ito yung expected mo na makita mo, no. Okay, so parang ganito. So for example, for the stress distribution, so yung top fiber, no, from the elastic neutral axis, or ang counterpart nito yung centroid natin, no, of our given section. For elastic analysis, kapag na-reach na yung tinatawag nating Fy, yung yield stress ng bakal, irregardless kung sino yung mauna, yung bottom fiber or yung yung top fiber or yung bottom fiber, sa elastic analysis tapos na yung ano mo, hanggang doon na lang. Okay? Tapos na yung analysis mo, hanggang doon na lang. Okay? That is elastic analysis. And but in reality, as we have mentioned, pwede mo pa naman talagang isagad, no. Hindi pa yun yung pinaka-limit nung system mo. Okay? Ng system mo. So it's also appropriate na and usually what we're doing is in terms of your lower subject, we usually use yung formula ng flexure, no? Flexure formula, which is F sub B is equal to MC over I, no? Which is also equal to M over S, no? Using the section modulus. Okay? Basically, we just equate, no, itong stress na to, on actual stress doon sa sa yield stress ng bakal. Okay? Ito kasi yung pinaka-limit natin. Okay? So that's what happens on elastic analysis. Okay? And also, it's appropriate lamang na since nasa elastic analysis tayo, to call our moment as elastic moment, or sa ibang book tinatawag nating M sub Y, no? Yung ating pinaka-internal couple, no, on this stress distribution. Okay. Now let's go further, no, on comparing yung ating elastic analysis and plastic analysis. So say for example, nagdagdag pa ako ng load, no, doon sa ating beam. Ganito yung magiging representation ng ating strain and stress distribution. Okay. So you could see na yung yung strain mo is it would continuously grow, no, linearly. And while yung F sub Y mo, okay, nag-ano pa rin siya, okay, nag-yield pa rin siya yung pinaka-section mo, pero hanggang doon na lang, no, yung Fy mo. Hindi na siya mag-increase kasi yun lang yung kayang dalhin ng ng section mo. Okay. So parang from this line, no, parang nag-rotate siya clockwise, no? Tama, clockwise. Okay. Okay. So ito yung parang in between nung elastic and plastic analysis. Now, let's show yung yung ating plastic analysis. Now, ayun, pwede ka pang magdagdag ng load again, no? Kasi hindi pa nag-yield yung buong section ng yung fiber mo dito. Okay? So you could see dito hanggang doon sa fiber na yun nag-yield na. Okay? Now, there's a certain point in time, nagdagdag ka pa ng load na yung all sections mo would yield, no? Like so, no? And as we have mentioned, hanggang doon lang yung limit nung nung Fy mo, okay? Doon sa given section. So yun nga, nag-rotate yung stress distribution mo parang clockwise, no? So from this one to this one, tapos hanggang na siya, mag-straight line na siya. Okay? Okay? So ito yung parang pinaka stress distribution natin for plastic analysis. And kapag na-reach mo na daw to, itong stage na to, you would have mag-introduce ka na ng tinatawag na plastic hinge dun sa system mo, no? And usually on this type of system, nangyayari dun sa possibly on the midspan, okay? Wherein yung entire section mo, okay, already yielded, no? Yielded. So ito yung what we call plastic analysis, okay? So gusto ko lang i-emphasize, no? Pagdating sa elastic analysis, okay, since ang ibang term dito ng mga textbooks is yield moment, no, yung MY, the moment that caused to one of the fiber to yield, no. Okay? Elastically, okay? So we have this formula from this equation, okay? Kung babalikan natin tong flexure formula, kung gusto nating makuha yung moment, no? So we just need to multiply yung stress by the section modulus, okay? But that stress is limited only by Fy, okay? So basically ito na 'yon. Okay? Ito na 'yon. Meron lang akong gustong i-emphasize, no? The elastic section modulus that we're using here is or the section modulus that we're using here is elastic, no? Kaya tinatawag natin siyang elastic section modulus. Okay? Similarly on the plastic analysis, no? Since meron tayong yung daw moment that would cause the all fibers on our entire section to yield, tatawagin natin siyang plastic moment MP. Okay? Okay? MP. So ang formula diyan is somehow similar lang din dito kay yield moment MY, no? The difference is you would use not the elastic section modulus but the plastic section modulus kasi nasa plastic analysis tayo. Okay? So basically ito yung mga formula na gagamitin natin today, okay? To summarize is that hindi lang tayo limited to elastic analysis. Pwede pa tayo mag-add ng load in such a way na ma-reach natin yung plastic analysis wherein all the fibers already yielded. Okay? So ito yung mga series of formula na gagamitin natin for today. Now, just to take note lang, the calculation of plastic section modulus would not be discussed here, no, or possibly on part 2 ng ating calculation or on the future discussions. Okay? Okay, merong effect kasi yung residual stress on our calculation as we have discussed on the last chapter. Okay, so ang ginagawa ni code, okay, supposedly ito yung formula natin for yield moment elastic section modulus times Fy. Okay, ang ginagawa ni code to account for the residual stress, they would only use 70% of that equation. Okay, so sa ibang book tinatawag nila tong M sub R. Okay, which is ito talaga yung pinaka per shield on series of equations na ginagamit sa AISC and sa NSCP. Okay? So for example, if 238 yung Fy mo, you would meron kang expected na residual stress na 0.3 248 which is ito 74.4 MPa. Okay? Okay? Now let's discuss limit state for flexure. Okay? So similar with other topic on flexure, meron tayong mga mode of failure na kailangang i-discuss. Okay? So ito yung usual na tatlo. Okay? Yung yielding, which is pinakita natin kanina on the elastic and plastic analysis slide. Ito sana yung gusto nating mangyari, wherein na-reach natin yung maximum possible moment dun sa ating system. And na-discuss natin yon, that is under plastic analysis, yung ating plastic moment na tinatawag. That's the maximum possible moment. Okay? Unfortunately, hindi mangyayari yon kasi meron tayong dalawang other mode of failure, which is yung tinatawag nating local buckling, L sub B, or LB, and lateral torsional buckling, LTB. Okay? So, yun nga, supposedly, itong yielding yung ideal, pero hindi nangyari due to this phenomenon, or the stability. Parang similar to chapter 4 sa design of compression members. Hindi talaga na-achieve yung maximum possible load na kayang buhatin ng columns mo kasi pag masyadong mahaba na siya, nagpipail na siya due to buckling. So yung tinatawag nating premature failure. So ito yung counterpart doon sa beams. Okay? Itong dalawang to. Okay? So we need to check itong dalawang mode of failure na to aside from the yielding. Okay? Okay, punta muna tayo kay yielding. Okay? Limit state number 1. Now, sa yielding failure, ito na rin yung pinakita ko kanina sa plastic analysis, wherein ito yung desirable, we need to achieve the maximum possible moment, MP. And all the sections on your system were already stress or it already reached yung yield stress F sub Y. Okay? And the nominal moment capacity as per this mode of failure is the plastic moment MP, which is equal to Z sub X times F sub Y. Okay? Now again, hindi siya mangyayari kasi meron tayong two mode of failure that cause premature failure. Okay? Itong dalawa. Okay? So discuss natin 'yon. Let's start with local buckling, limit state number 1. For local buckling, for chapter 4 na discuss na natin 'to, 'di ba? Ang difference lang on chapter 4, we basically focus our discussion on global buckling or yung tinatawag nating flexural buckling on chapter 4. And we discuss yung local buckling pero pahapyaw lang. So on this chapter i-detail na natin kung ano bang nangyayari kay local buckling, So from the words of local or localized, ito yung different buckling modes natin, okay? Na pwede nating i-itemize sa mga figure na to, okay? Say for example, we have a simply supported beam and we applied a moment on both ends. So if we cut a section here at midspan, ito yung makikita natin, So sa ideal system, na walang buckling, okay? Alam natin na yung from neutral axis to the top fiber, lahat ng area na yon is under compression. Okay, under compression. Now itong bottom part naman is under tension. Now again, parang lang to, application lang to ng chapter 4 Kapag meron kang compression, meron kang possible kang mag-backing. mag-backlink. Okay? Okay? Possible to a backlink mode of failure. Okay? Now, on tension, wala naman. No? Wala, di naman applicable yung backlink. Okay? So, ito sana yung ano, yung ideal state natin na kahit na compression, wala kang local backlink na tinatawag, no? Local tayo kasi as from the word itself, localized tayo, naka-focus lang tayo dun sa ano, sa individual plates, okay, ng ating cross section. Okay? And in terms of local backlink, dalawa 'yon, okay? Yung isa is the flange local backlink or abbreviated as FLB, wherein it occurs on ano on the flange na under sa compression, okay? While yung web local backlink naman, abbreviated as WLB, doon pa din sa web mo na under sa ano compression, no? Okay? So ito yung nangyayari, no? Isa-isahin natin for flange local backlink. So you could see here on this elevation view, no, na deformed na yung pinaka flange mo. Okay? So localized siya, and pag tinignan mo sa cross section, possibility makita mo. Okay? Yung tinatawag nating flange local backlink. Similarly, yung web local backlink naman, okay, ito yung pinaka-elevation mo. Possibly magkakaroon ka ng deformation dito. Okay? If you would check the section view, ito yung makita mo. Okay? So nag-buckle na din yung pinaka-web mo. Okay? So what we call the web local backlink. Okay? Now, since we're talking about backlink, no, it's appropriate lamang na we need to discuss yung tinatawag na slenderness ratio. Okay? And in terms of local backlink, usually we based on what we call plate plate backlink theory, no, we usually calculate the what we call the width to thickness ratio. No? Nire-relate natin siya sa slenderness ratio kasi compression tayo, no, compression mode of failure tayo. Okay? So say for example, no, mag-focus tayo on local backlink dun sa flange. Okay? So if we would observe yung flange natin, okay? Yung flange natin is restrained basically by the web, no, on one edge. So for example, let's show yung let's take some specimen, no, dun sa ating web, no, nagbuckle, okay? Or flange na nagbuckle. We would have this figure, okay? So parang siya ang representation niya is cantilever beam, okay? And let's assume na meron tayong 1 millimeter unit width, okay, on our analysis, no. So yung projecting flange na yan, okay, is, as I mentioned, is like a cantilever, and usually tinatawag natin yan or considered natin yan as unsteeped element, no. Unsteep, parang kasi siya, no, isang member lang yung nakasupport sa kanya, no. So yun nga, naglagay tayo ng moment dyan, and it would have a local web local or flange local backlink like so. And if we would calculate, no, yung ating slenderness ratio, okay? Slenderness ratio on chapter 4 is simply L over R, no? L over R. Now if we would relate kasi dito sa local backlinks, it's appropriate lang na mag-focus tayo dun sa radius of gyration, okay? And if we would calculate yung radius of gyration to check yung ating slenderness ratio, okay? The radius of gyration is simply I over A, no? I over A. So if we would relate dito sa sample natin, okay, on our projecting flange, na meron kang total length na B, no? And meron ka daw depth na T or yung thickness ng flange, and with the unit width, no? Imagine mo na yan, cantilever beam yan, with a unit width of 1 millimeter. Okay? Pag kinalculate mo tong moment of inertia of this system, so moment of inertia, basically, rectangular section lang to, no? That is BH cube over 12, no? So on this system, yung base mo is yung 1 millimeter, okay? Yung depth mo is yung thickness, okay? Yun. Okay? And over 12, okay? Divided by area, which is simply the depth or yung thickness mo times yung width mo or yung 1 millimeter. Okay? Ito yun. So simplify mo yan, ma-cancel out yung T dito, so maging T squared, tapos may square root, so matitira is T. Okay? And then may mga numbers ka dyan, so whatever number na yun, let's assume that's a constant number. Okay? And therefore, we could conclude na yung R natin is basically, no, proportional with the thickness, no, with the thickness. And therefore, kung babalikan natin yung calculation ng slenderness ratio, which is L over R, no, we would relate dito sa system natin, okay, yung length ng ating parang pinaka-column, no, pinaka-column is yung distance B, okay, yung distance B, okay, so yun yung length, distance B, and yung radius of gyration as per column, no, R yun, we could, and sabi natin, yung R natin is somehow proportional to T, or yung thickness natin, it would give you the representation of slenderness ratio for this flange, no? And tinatawag natin siyang width to thickness ratio, okay? On local backlink, okay? So basically ito lang yung ano natin, no, yung width to thickness ratio. And it would give you the slenderness nung flange mo in web, which is as we have mentioned, expressed in terms of the B over T ratio. Okay. Now in terms of the wide flange, okay? In terms of the wide flange, if we would relate itong figure na to, yung B na yan, okay, basically ano yun, from pinaka gitna ng ating web to pinaka end ng ating flange, no? Yun yung ating cantilever beam. Okay? Now, this distance is B sub F, yung total width ng ating flange. Okay? So we could say na yung B na yan, okay? Since kalahati siya ng B sub F, so that would from this equation, no? B over T, okay? Ratio. So yung length mo, okay, from this figure is kalahati ng B sub F. So yun na yun, okay? B sub F divide 2. Okay? And yung thickness mo, which is representation dito, yung thickness ng flange. Okay? So T sub F. Okay? So simplify mo yan, you would have the width to thickness ratio for flange equals to ano, B sub F over twice the thickness of flange. Okay? So ito yung mga formulas na gagamitin natin to represent the actual width to thickness ratio for wide flange. Okay? Now, going to web, no? Sa web naman, if you would apply, paki-ignore na lang tong deformation, no, kasi nasa web na tayo. Pagdating sa web, no? If you would apply end moments like so, possibly kapag magbabakel yung web, it would occurs like so. So parang ang representation niya is ano, no? Column, no? Supported at both ends. Okay? Pagdating sa web. Kaya tinatawag natin siyang ano sa NSCP na steepened element, no? Okay? Kasi both is supported, no? And the actual web, no? Yung B slenderness ratio, which is pagdating dito, we represent, as we have mentioned, as a B over T ratio or the width to thickness ratio is equals to ano daw, no? Equals to this equation. Okay? Equals to this equation. H over thickness of web. Okay? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize, okay? Yung L natin, which is the length or slenderness of ratio, which is L over R, pagdating dito sa web, no, yung pinaka total length natin, representation, is itong H. Okay? Yung magbabakel. Okay? Tapos yung R, which is sabi natin proportional to T, yun yung ano, thickness of web. Okay? Kaya dito sa actual, no, width to thickness ratio for web, ito yung naging formula natin. Okay? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize, pag built-up section yung gagamitin mo, yung H mo, matic yun from out to out distance ng flange natin. Okay? Now, pagdating sa wide flange, okay, yung definition ng H is ano, from the end nung parang curvature dun sa ano natin, sa roll shape natin. Okay? So, meron ka pang distance na kailangang i-account. And yung distance na yon, if you would check on AISC database, yun yung ano, K design, no? Distance K. So, yun eh, yung point kung saan nag-stop yung curvature nung during ng roll shape mo. Kumbaga, thickness of web na yon. Okay? Doon daw mag-start yung height or distance H. Okay? So, based on this figure, meron kang dalawang K value, okay, doon sa top and sa bottom flange. And therefore, pagdating sa wide flange, para makuha mo yung H, basically ano lang yon, no? Yung depth nung wide flange mo minus twice nung K design. Okay? So, yun lang yung gusto ko emphasize on this one, okay? On our calculations mamaya. Okay? Okay, sige. Now, in terms of classification ng section as per NSCP against local backlink, it was categorized into three kasi, no? So usually classified yan based daw on susceptibility to local backlink or local instability. And classified siya into three, which is compact section, non-compact section, and slender section. Okay? And as we have mentioned, nakabase yan sa slenderness ratio, no? Ng individual plates dun sa cross-section mo. Okay? So ang gagawin mo is to compare, no, para malaman mo kung compact siya, non-compact or slender, you would compare the actual width to thickness ratio dun sa provided on this table kay NSCP, okay? For unsteepened and steepened elements, no. Kung sinabi natin unsteepened, napakita na natin kanina yan, we're talking about flange, okay? Kapag steepened, it's a web, okay? So, sige, i-detail pa natin, okay? So, ano ba yung difference nung tatlong section na yon in terms of comparison ng kanilang slenderness ratio? Okay? So, kapag nandito ka raw sa range na to, yung actual lambda mo, which is the slenderness ratio or the width to thickness ratio, yung term na ginagamit natin, no, is less than or equal the lambda sub p, which is defined as the upper limit for compact section, meaning you are a compact section. Okay? Compact section. Kapag naman daw lambda sub p is less than lambda is less than or equal lambda sub r, which is may bago tayong parameter yung lambda sub r, and it was defined as the upper limit naman for non-compact section, you are under non-compact section. Okay? And lastly, kapag yung lambda sub r mo is less than or equal lambda, or actual width to thickness ratio, you are under the category ng slender section. Okay? So in terms of final, no? Final category kasi sabi natin dito, kailangan mong i-categorize, no? Yung web and yung flange kung compact ba siya or hindi, no? What if yung flange mo is compact or sabihin natin yung web mo is compact tapos yung flange mo is non-compact, no? So paano yung category, no? So nilinaw din dito sa slide na ang basis mo would be the worst, no? Yung worst category. So in that case, the appropriate category mo is yung non-compact section ka, no? As a whole. Okay? So, okay. So, ito yung natin, no, gagawin nating guide in terms of classifying our sections against local backlink criteria. Okay? In terms of stresses naman, gusto ko lang din i-explain, no? Ito yung comparison ng compact, non-compact, and slender section, no? Ito yung ating pinaka f sub y, no? And ito yung strain at x-axis. So, you could see na kapag compact section, talagang no? Mataas yung yield stress and mas mataas din yung strain na kaya niyang ma-reach. Okay? Kapag non-compact, ayun, medyo mataas din yung stress pero medyo maliit lang yung yung strain. Okay? And pag slender, ayun, both mababa. Okay? So ibig sabihin kapag slender section ka, usually daw you would develop yung plastic moment, no? Sorry, you would not develop, no? Let me correct that. You would not develop the plastic moment, which is the maximum possible moment dun sa system mo due to elastic local backlink. Okay? And similarly, kapag non-compact section ka daw, you would develop MY or the yield moment, but you would not but not the plastic moment before local backlink would happen. Okay? And lastly, compact section, ito lang daw yung the section that would develop plastic moment MP. Okay? So we were just relating yung ating stresses with the strain considering this three category ng section natin under local backlink criteria. Okay? Now, sinabi ko kanina yung table from NSCP, no? Na gagamitin natin for comparison, yung series of equation na i-compare daw natin yung actual width to thickness ratio. Okay? So itong table 502.4.1, which is the limiting width to thickness ratio for compression elements, no? Malinaw dito na sinabi, no? Malinaw dito na sinabi, unsteepened elements, which is alam natin, this is for flange. Okay? Now, malinaw to, no? Sinabi niya, yung width to thickness ratio daw, B over T, i-compare mo with this limiting width to thickness ratio. Ito yung mga limit, no? So yung lambda sub P, no? For a compact section, ito yun, malinaw, 0.38 square root of E over Fy. Okay? And for non-compact section naman, yung lambda sub R mo is 1.0 over square root of E over Fy. Okay? So okay to, no? Ito yung mga gamitin natin para malaman natin kung compact, non-compact, or slender yung ating given section. Ito yung for flange. Okay? For web naman, which is the steepened element, itong kasunod na table. Okay? Which is itong criteria na to. Okay? Gusto ko lang emphasize, no? Flexure in flange of a rolled I-shaped section and channel. So applicable yung wide flange. Okay? In terms of steepened element, yung web nga, ito yung case 9, no? Which is flexure and webs of Dobie symmetric I-shaped section and channel. Okay? Again, na-derive na natin to. Ito yung formula natin for the actual width to thickness ratio. Ito naman yung equation natin for lambda sub P, no? Which is for compact section, 3.76 the square root of E over Fy, and ito yung for non-compact section, okay? Lambda sub R, 5.7 square root of E over F sub Y. Okay? So gusto ko lang emphasize na yung lambda mo, yung mga lambda mo is a function of your E and F sub Y. Okay? So, usually, pwede mong baguhin dito yung yung still grade mo. Okay? To modify yung yung mga equations mo dito. Okay? Okay, to summarize again, no? To summarize, for W shape, kukunin mo yung in terms of the flange local backlink, kunin mo yung actual lambda, no? Ito yung equation, and you need to compare with this two sets of equation kung compact ka ba or non-compact. Okay? Kapag web local backlink naman, kunin mo yung lambda, which is the equation, i-compare mo with the actual yung limiting width to thickness ratio. So ito yung for compact, no? Ito naman yung non-compact. Okay? In terms of stresses, no, or moment, na discuss na naman to kanina, kapag compact section, MP is reached and maintained before local backlink. So ito yung mga equations daw natin. Okay? For non-compact, local backlink would occurs in the inelastic range. So ito yung mga equations na gagamitin natin. And for slender element, local backlink would occurs in elastic range. Okay? By the way, for this chapter, we would focus on compact section as we have discussed. Okay? Okay? Punta tayo sa limit state number 3, which is the lateral torsional buckling or LTB, no? For this part siguro mas maganda i-try nating ipakita, no, yung um, video, okay, nung lateral torsional buckling. So ang gusto kong i-observe nyo, aside from the failure dito sa gitna, no, due to LTB, gusto ko lang i-check nyo yung force versus displacement, no. This one is vertical displacement, ito naman is horizontal displacement, okay. Okay, yan, medyo malapit na yan, nagbakal na daw. Okay. So check yung stress strain diagram, sorry, yung force and displacement ano natin, no? Diagram natin. Okay. Okay, parang meron kang concentrated load at midspan, no? Tapos out of nowhere nag-fail na siya prematurely due to LTB. Wherein ang mapapansin mo dito, no? Kapag LTB, nag-deflect ka laterally tapos nag-twist yung section mo. Okay? So ganun yung nangyari. Okay. So again, no, you have a simply supported beam and then nag-apply ka ng load on top of your beam. Ang nangyayari on LTB is kapag nag-fail ka na sa lateral torsional buckling na tinatawag, nagkakaroon ka ng lateral displacement. Ito yung original section mo. Okay? Tapos ito yung parang pinaka-final section mo. You would have a lateral displacement and torsional displacement or nag-twist yung section mo. Pag nagtingin ka sa top view, okay, nung pinaka-beam mo, okay, ito yung elevation and this one is top view. Ito yung makita mo. Okay? Okay? So, to summarize, no, LTB occurs along the length of the section. Yung compression flange mo tries to buckle as a column, no? And tension flange mo tries to stay in place. So, in effect, no, magkakaroon ka ng lateral movement dun sa compression flange and torsional twistness dun sa buong cross section mo. Okay? And gusto ko lang i-emphasize din, no, lateral torsional buckling only happens when bent about its strong axis. Okay? Kapag ka naka-bent ka on the minor axis, walang LTB. Okay? Applicable lang yan sa strong axis. Okay? Okay? Ang question ngayon is, okay, meron tayong LTB tinatawag. Okay? The question is, paano siya mape-prevent? Okay? Sige, ito yung mga solutions natin. Okay? We would introduce usually what we call lateral bracing. Okay? So, to prevent daw yung lateral torsional buckling, okay, for a certain system, so like so, okay, ito yung simply supported beam natin, assuming na masyado lang mahaba, no, yung ating beam, to prevent yung LTB, kailangan mo lang daw mag-introduce ng lateral bracing na tinatawag. Itong mga cross na yan, okay, denotes yung lateral brace points. Okay? That would prevent yung LTB na tinatawag. Okay? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize, okay? Yung distance natin na to, okay? Ito to from the lateral brace point to lateral brace point. Yan yung tinatawag nating unbraced length, LB, no? Unbraced length, which is the basis of our calculations, okay? On this topic, okay? Yung unsupported length natin ito no? From support ng beam to beam, okay? Unsupported length ito is unbraced length. Okay? So usually ang strategy is to introduce a lateral strength, no, or yung bracing between beam centroid daw and the compression flange to prevent yung LTB na tinatawag. Okay? So ito yung pinaka-solution natin. So meron tayong dalawang figure dito to show yung effect ng LTB, no, with or without lateral bracing. Okay? So sa figure na to, as you can see, this is ongoing construction ng steel girder bridge. Okay? You could see na naglagay siya ng tinatawag na cross bracing. Okay? Yung ibang term diyan is intermediate bracing. Okay? So ang purpose niyan is to prevent yun nga yung tinatawag nating lateral torsional buckling. Itong sa right hand side naman, ito yung without bracing. You could see na nag-buckle or nag-peel siya under lateral torsional buckling. Okay? So ganun ka-critical yung ating yung use ng ating bracing on our system. Okay? In reality, no, dun sa mga bridge failure na makikita nyo online, usually nangyayari yon due to no? Due to lateral torsional buckling. So wala kasi silang introduce na bracing. Okay? Now, in terms of the capacity or the strength, no, of a given system, the nominal strength, dapat lang i-relate natin, no, yung definition ng L sub B or yung lateral bracing. Okay? Kasi kung gaano kasinsen, no, kung gaano kasinsen yung bracing mo dun sa beam mo, it will dictate kung ano yung capacity mo. Okay? It makes sense, no? Kung mas masinsen yung bracing mo, mas mataas possibly yung mo, no? Yung capacity ng beam mo. Now, habang lumalayo yung bracing mo, magpipil ka due to lateral torsional buckling. Okay? Now the question is, paano mo maka-calculate, no? Kasi it's a function of ano eh, it's a function of your lateral brace eh, or unbraced length eh. Okay? So ito yung pinaka-guide natin no, on this figure, no, which basically shows yung nominal moment strength versus the unbraced length. Okay? So ang sabi ni code, whatever the value of your unbraced length L sub B, no? So i-plot mo siya dito, no? I-plot mo siya diyan. Tapos hanapin mo kung ano yung mga values daw ng tinatawag nating limiting lengths, no? Limiting lengths L sub P and L sub R. Okay? Tapos i-compare mo lang doon and then malalaman mo kung saan ka magpo-fall. Okay? Kung case 1 ka, okay? Kung case 1 ka, meaning you would achieve plastic, no? Plastic case wherein nasa plastic zone ka, wala ka daw lateral torsional buckling doon. So parang ang nangyari dito masyadong masinsin, no? Masinsin yung bracing system mo. Okay, no? Hindi ka wala kang lateral torsional buckling. And ang sabi, ma-achieve mo daw yung maximum possible moment which is yung plastic moment. Okay? Now, yung second case doon, medyo yung spacing mo tinaasan mo yung spacing mo ng bracing, you would fall na dito possibly on this on this straight line, no? Straight line. So tinatawag na natin tong inelastic lateral torsional buckling kapag nag-fall ka dito sa case 2. Okay? And lastly, kapag sobrang malalayo na yung mo, yung bracing mo sa beam, okay, you would fall na dito kay elastic lateral torsional buckling. Ito na yung case 3 natin on nominal pectoral strength calculations na ipapakita ko sa inyo mamaya. Okay? So ito yung pinaka-guide na gagamitin natin. Gusto ko lang i-emphasize guys, no, on the MP, which is the plastic moment, and then meron tayong M sub R, which is yung pinakita natin kanina, na yung supposedly yung formula ng yield moment, pero meron tayong reduction kasi nga 70% lang daw yung gagamitin natin due to residual stress. No? So pinakita natin on this figure. Okay? Okay, so sa malinaw to guys, no, on lateral torsional buckling, ito yung gagamitin nating guide on ano equation yung dapat natin gamitin. Okay? Okay? Quick discussion on limiting lengths. Okay? Para makalculate mo yung L sub P and L sub R na pinakita natin kanina dito. Okay? Kasi ang question is critical ba tayo sa lateral torsional buckling or hindi? So ang sagot doon kunin mo tong limiting lengths, okay? Para maintindihan mo kung saan ka magpo-fall. Okay? So case to case basis. Okay? So ngayon, i-define natin ano ba tong mga LP and LR, paano mo siya makakalculate. Okay? So yung L sub P, no? Limiting length L sub P is can be calculated as per the code equal to 1.76 R sub y square root of E over Fy. No? Alam na natin ito lahat, wala namang bago dyan. Okay? So ito yung mga ibig sabihin yan. Okay? Yung, obviously, kapag yung L sub B or yung unbraced length mo is less than L sub P, as per dun sa figure na pinakita natin kanina, wala kang torsional buckling. Okay? Now, kung yung opposite nito, greater than yung LB mo, ayan, magkakaroon ka ng torsional buckling, which is, yun nga, may torsional buckling ka na. Okay? Now, yung L sub R naman, limiting length L sub R, can be calculated by this equation. 1.95 R sub TS E over 0.7 F sub Y square root of JC, no, hindi siya sub, okay? A separate parameter over S sub X H sub O square root of 1 plus square root of 1 plus 6.76 open close parenthesis squared 0.7 F sub Y over E S sub X H sub O over J sub C. Okay? So medyo mahaba. Actually, ito yung pinakamahabang formula, no, sa steel design. Okay? So paka-memorize na lang guys, no? Paki-memorize na lang. Wala kayong option but to memorize itong L sub R. Okay? Ito yung mga ibig sabihin ng mga parameters, no? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize yung C. Okay? Ito yung mga bago pala, no? Mga bagong parameters natin. R sub TS. Okay? Which is the radius of gyration about the y-axis of the effective compression area. J is the torsional constant. Okay? Yung C mo daw, small letter C is equal to 1.0 for Dobby symmetrical shape like wide flange. S sub X, alam nyo na to. Okay? H sub O, distance daw to, no, between the flange centroid, no, in millimeter. Okay? So siguro para mas maganda, let's introduce ulit yung yung ating section database for wide flange. So ipakita natin yung given wide flange section kasi ang sabi dito on our PowerPoint specifically for H, distance daw siya between flange centroid. Okay? Flange centroid. So ito yung flange mo, yung centroid niya most likely would andito. Okay? So, which is 0.5 thickness of flange, yung location niya. Similarly, dito 0.5 thickness of flange. So, yung definition ng H is distance between flange centroid. Okay? So, yun lang yun. Okay? From that point to that point. And it would be calculated by the distance D, yung total depth, minus 0.5 thickness of flange, minus 0.5 thickness of flange, or 1 thickness of flange. Okay? Ipakita ko lang yung ibang parameter, yung R sub TS. Okay, pagdating sa database, andito siya. Okay, itong column na to. Okay? So whatever the flange section ang ma-select mo, okay? Halimbawa, 40 by 655, okay? So yun yung corresponding ano niya, R sub TS. Okay? Similarly, itong ibang parameters, yung halimbawa, itong elastic section modulus S sub X. Okay? So dito mo siya makita pagdating sa database. Okay? Punta ka sa x-axis, ito. Ayan, S sub X. Okay? Okay? While yung, ayan, pakita na natin, yung plastic section modulus say sub X naman, okay? At x-axis, ito naman yon. Okay? So ito yung corresponding value nila. Okay? While yung other parameters, okay, pakita na natin, yung J, torsional constant, ito naman yon. Okay? Nandito sa bandang last part. Ito, torsional properties. Itong J. Ito yung, dito mo siya makakuha. Okay? So you would refer on this, on this column. Okay? Okay? Sige. So okay yung ano, no? Napakita natin kung paano siya nakuha from the database. Okay? So basically, ang ibig sabihin lang niyan, no, kapag LB is greater than LR, meron kang torsional buckling. Okay? Ito yung iba't ibang section properties na pwede nyo gamitin depende sa given section, no, as a guide. So I would share it with you na lang, no? So bahala na kayo. But most likely hindi natin gagamitin on our calculations. Okay? So sa code, meron siyang isang option to use a shorter formula ni L sub R, okay? Which is ito. Which is conservative to kasi mas critical yung mga values na binibigay niya. Okay? So pag ito pinagamit sa board exam nyo, hindi gamitin nyo. Okay? Pero on our discussion, you would use yung longer version ng L sub R. Okay? Okay? So ito pinakita ko lang saan kinukuha si R sub TS. Skip natin to. Okay? So ngayon sa mga cases kung saan you're using a built-up section, so i-discuss lang natin paano kinukuha si R sub TS. Okay? Define siya as as the radius of gyration about the y-axis. Okay? So ito yung y-axis natin. Okay? Pero ano lang daw, no? From the effective compression area, so alam natin ito yung compression fibers natin na taas ng neutral axis. Okay? Kunin mo lang daw yung 1/3 nun. Okay? So yun, yung 1/3 daw ng compression web. So ito yung compression web natin. Okay? Kunin mo yung 30% nun, yun yung compression. From that, no? Include mo na yung compression flange. Okay? So lahat ng area na to naka-highlighted. Kunin mo yung moment of inertia niya, or sorry, yung section properties niya in terms of the radius of gyration with respect to y-axis. No? So, ganun daw dinidefine si R sub TS. Okay? Which is sa case natin, pinakita natin sa database, naka-define naman siya no, kapag roll sweep section yung ginamit mo. Okay? So, for built-up section to. Okay? Sige. Nominal flexural strength, okay, as per the code. Okay? Sabi natin, magpo-focus tayo on 506.2. Okay? Ito lang yung sinasabi ni 506.2. Medyo i-detail natin, no? Although, ipapakita natin mamaya yung mga formulas niyan. Ang sabi niya, kapag nag-fall ka kay 506.2, dalawang mode of failure lang yung kailangan mo i-check, no? Yielding, which is ma-achieve mo yung maximum possible moment, the plastic moment, and lateral torsional buckling, LTB, no? So bakit? Kasi nga, compact section ka no? Kapag sinabing compact, wala kang local buckling. Okay? Kaya ito lang yung dalawang limit state na pinapacheck niya. Okay? So ito yung formula for yielding, ito yung formula for lateral torsional buckling. Okay? Sige, skip na natin to and let's proceed dun sa sa mga PowerPoint. Okay? So yung case number 1 for nominal flexural strength, no? May pinakita ko sa inyo kaninang table showing yung nominal strength versus the embraced length. Okay? Yung case number 1 mo, kapag yung L sub B mo is less than L sub P, no? Ibig sabihin you have a compact beam, LTB or lateral torsional buckling is not applicable, you would achieve the maximum possible moment or nominal moment capacity, which is the M sub P. No? And the formula for the nominal moment is M sub P is equal to F sub Y times Z sub X. Okay? Alam niyo na yung mga definition yan. Okay? Or ano yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize, no? Sa mga problem, minsan hindi nila binibigay yung lengths, no? Pero ang sinasabi nila, yung system mo daw is fully laterally supported. Okay? So kapag ito yung sinabi, matic yun, no question asked, hindi mo na kailangan i-calculate yung limiting lengths mo na L sub P, matic yun, you would fall into case 1 wherein you would develop the maximum possible moment, M sub P. Okay? Paki-take note na lang yung guys, no? Yung ibang term dito na ginagamit kapag daw yung compression flange mo sa beam mo is naka-encase with concrete slab. Yun, sa mga case na yun, walang lateral torsional buckling. So most likely applicable din siya kay case 1. Okay? So yun yung ibang clue. Okay? Now, pag case 2 naman, okay, ito yung range natin. L sub P is less than L sub B is less than L sub R. Okay? And the formula for the nominal moment capacity is equal to C sub B, no? M sub P minus M sub P minus 0.7 F sub Y S sub X. So familiar to, no? Ito yung yield moment with considering the residual stress. Tapos ano lang siya, no? Naka-ratio siya, no? Ratio ng limiting lengths. L sub B minus L sub P over L sub R minus L sub P. Okay? So basically, just to give you an idea, yung parang ratio na lang, ano lang to, equation of align lang to. No? Equation of align. Parang kinuha lang siya dito. No? Kinuha lang siya dito dito sa graph na to. Itong case 2. Okay? Equation of align. Para makuha mo yung nominal moment. Okay? Naka-base kasi siya dito kung nasaan yung L sub B, okay? Which is related kay L sub P and L sub R. Okay? So doon lang siya kinuha. Okay? Itong formula ni case 2. Okay? And it should be compared with ano daw, plastic moment, MP. Okay? And ang rule is dapat kung sino yung mas mababa diyan, siya yung kukunin mo. Okay? So ano ba yung may mga bago ba tayong parameters dito? Meron. Number 1 yung C sub B, no? Defined as lateral torsional modification factor. Discuss natin mamaya yan, an example problem number 2. Yung M sub P okay na, F sub Y, S sub X okay na. No? So basically yun lang, no? Yun lang. Okay? Yun lang yung bago dito. So okay, try natin discussion mamaya, okay? So for case ano naman, okay? For case 3 naman, L sub B mo is less than L sub R. Ito na yung formula na gagamitin mo. Okay? Nominal capacity, okay? Ito yung nasa last part nung figure, okay? Nandito sa baba, okay? S sub X mo daw is nominal moment mo is equal to S sub X times F sub CR, okay? And it should be less than M sub P. Okay? So meron tayong mga bagong parameters, no? Na halimbawa itong F sub CR, no? So define siya as the elastic buckling stress M sub PA. Okay? So paano siya kina-calculate, i-try din i-discuss mamaya pagdating sa example problem. Okay? So ngayon i-skip na tayo diyan, okay? Now the overall, no, flexural strength natin, okay? For a doubly symmetric compact section, for example, yung white flange, bent about their major axis, no? Gagamitin mo yung nominal moment capacity or strength to convert into LRFD. Ito yung maging equation natin, no? M sub U is equal to P sub B times M sub N, and kung ASD yan, that is M sub A, it should be equal to M sub N, no, over the omega sub B. Okay? Okay? So yun lang naman yan. Okay? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize na kapag yung design strength natin, yung mga over strength natin for P sub B, or yung strength reduction factor for under LRFD, no, is equal to 0.9. Okay? And yung omega sub B natin for ASD, no, na design procedure, it's 1.67. So somehow familiar with same with yielding, no, yielding or design of compression members. Okay? Sige, mag-example problem tayo.